Boise State Director of Athletics, Jeramiah Dickey. What a day it's been. Boise State and, of course, a pretty good football team with our great friend in Ashton Genty, who's joined us. Jeramiah, what does today, I know it's down the road, but what does, and thanks for your time, today mean for Boise State athletics?
Well, one, guys, thanks for having me on. Every day is a great day to be a Bronco, and today was special. This is something that I think many Broncos will remember for a very long time, and I'm bullish on the direction we're headed, and it's just been I can't even put words to it. The number of student athletes that have stopped by my office, the donors that have come by, the donors that have called, people in the industry. It's exciting, and you're grinding to the end. When you have these type of opportunities, and it happens quickly, and so it just makes me very grateful to be a leader here, and to hopefully take us to the next level. As we look ahead.
So this obviously is a process that happened really fast for the rest of us. How long, was this really in the water for you guys?
So, there's always conversations that are taking place, and I think you all know me well enough. I'm not one to sit back and let things happen. We're going to make them, and so you're always, intrigued by what potentially could be. And, we have plan A through Z, and, as we're running out these ground balls, and as these conversations continue to take place, it just kept escalating. And, you get to a place that it started this week. I said earlier on some of my media here, it started this week. I'm not sure I could have told you, I would be doing a press conference on Thursday. But that's just sometimes how these things happen, and it happens quickly. You're trying to keep everything confidential. There are a lot of moving pieces, and ultimately there is, risk and reward. But in this case, I felt the reward was worth the risk. My job is to play the hand to the best of my ability that I've been dealt, and we're continuing to do that. And I'm just really excited for the feedback and how everyone is talking about it and ultimately taking it. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, which I get, but it's been a good day so far.
Jeramiah, was there ever a time, even though you have unbelievable faith and belief in what you guys are doing, what you're doing at Boise State along with everybody else, was there ever a time we just kind of felt like that door would not open?
I think there's seeds of doubt that get planted and ultimately spring up probably at the worst possible moments. And, I'm human. I hold myself to a higher standard, and I have a tremendous responsibility here leading not just our student athletes, our staff, our institution, but Bronco Nation. And we are the front porch of Idaho. And so, there's peaks and valleys to all of this, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to control what I can control. And we continue to put our best foot forward. And I knew sometimes, I'm not very patient, but, sometimes you got to be patient. And we were. And I think it's paid dividends for us. And now I'm just really excited for what's that. In my mind, this is done. Now it's on to what are the other 2 to however many teams that we're going to add, and what are the potential revenue opportunities, and how can I start investing now and knowing that I need to hit the ground running, or we need to hit the ground running come July 1st, 2026. And that's where my mindset is now. And I think that I'm, I know I'm really grateful for people like Cody, and others on my team that, even in those moments where maybe there's a little bit of doubt, it's why you have teammates. He lifts me up, and many others on my team do the same. And, some of those days they'd come in here and say, JD, we got this. We're going to find a way, and let's keep going. And that means we're making an impact here. And I'm just really grateful.
Jeramiah, you guys don't know exactly what the playoff situation will be for you and what guarantees you're getting there, but do you feel like this gives you a better avenue and path into the playoff because the strength of schedule will go up? What are the benefits for it on the field when it comes to football?
100%. Our goal was to improve our competitive excellence, and locking arms with like-minded institutions, athletic directors, etc. I think, I don't think it gives me a lot of hope in what this could become. And, when you think about football and strength of schedule and viewership matters and the number of people tuning in. And obviously there's human components to CFP and even the polls that are taken. I want to tell our story and I want to do it on a national basis and looking at the teams we have and potentially some that we could add. I think we could do epic, and I think that will domino not just into the CFP, but I think it's going to impact every sport that we sponsor, all 18. And and I think that that's important. And you look at men's and women's basketball, especially women's basketball potentially getting units now, and I don't remember. It's been a long day, fellas. So you have to forgive me, but I don't remember when that comes in, if it's this year or the next. But I'm looking to monetize every single aspect of our department. I'm not saying NASCAR it, but we have to. We don't have what everyone else has. We never have, but we're Broncos and we're going to find a way. And that's the What's Next initiative. And it's always going to be what's next.
Jeramiah, congratulations, first of all. I know that the times, especially the last handful of times we've talked to you, this has always been kind of looming, just not this specifically, but just something always looming and you guys waiting for an opportunity. So I think it's a beautiful thing for you guys that we know at Boise and then others from the other schools as well. I was just curious of how much of a relationship or did you have much of a background with Teresa Gold and just what has that process been like in terms of, that's going to be the commissioner of your new conference moving forward, but just impressions or backstory, or is this all kind of brand new as well?
All very brand new. Obviously, I know of her. I've not necessarily crossed paths with her as much as maybe other conference commissioners. But, since she really joined some of these calls and I've just been nothing but impressed. I have a lot of empathy for what she's and Oregon State and Washington State, what they've had to go through. It's been a really difficult, 13, 14 months. And, and I understand, I really don't. I probably have never gone through that, but I understand how uncomfortable that could be. And for her to step into that role as a leader of those two and ultimately the Pac-12 and say, it's going to be okay and we're going to find a way. That aligns with who I am. And so I'm really grateful for her leadership and obviously the Pac-12's interest in us. And, I'm excited to see what this could become. And we're, obviously there's still a lot to be determined. I was a little bit late for this call because, we're on the phone and we're trying to, think about what's next and our next steps. And it's not 5 or 10 steps, it's probably 200. But, this was, I'm trying to keep my energy level up because I can't drink any more coffee at this point. Haven't slept for a while and, it's all adrenaline, but, this is just the beginning. We're not even close to the end. And I need to get some rest this weekend so I can hit the ground running.
Jeramiah, how much sleep did you get? When did you go to bed? And how did people keep this under wraps? Because that doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't. And I was actually really impressed. We were joking. I mean, I think Ross ended up getting it from someone, late last night. And it's really impressive. But I also think, guys, that shows you how much the people in that room cared. The Mount West Four, we call us, myself and the 3 other ADs. And obviously we were having conversations and talking through every step of the process and what this could potentially be. But it's because we cared so much and we knew the impact it could have that, I talk a lot about risk reward. It was too much risk for it to get out. We needed to keep it close to the vest and make sure that we were doing our due diligence and that, look, as of yesterday, until that term sheet was signed, there was still this in the back of mind, like, what if, and could it fall apart? And so I think that held everyone accountable to the process and the confidentiality. And I appreciate it because, I'm transparent. It's probably hard for me. I'm a bad liar, and so I was trying to avoid every conversation that potentially someone could ask me, but the way this timing went, and as I said before, as of Monday, we hadn't seen terms, and so I didn't really have anything to say, all right, this is best. And it really escalated over the last 48 hours and the timeline got moved up and but I also think there's value in that. We're in a very bureaucratic industry and especially within higher education and sometimes it's ready, aim. And the fact is because of that timeline, it was able to get done. And I feel that we're much better today than we were yesterday. And that's always my goal. And I'm proud of my team and everyone else who's been involved with it.
Do you ever think, like, when you say how things move slow and then this moves fast, do you ever like get on the phone with people and go, look, we made a conference realignment deal this quick. Go back to 2020. We're making scheduling deals overnight. Like, can we move faster, people?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I believe we can. I think inherently we're an outlier to college athletics is an outlier to maybe higher education. And please do not take that as it's not important. Academics is absolutely a priority. But I'm having to become a CFO or a CEO. Apologies, a CEO. We're operating a business, and in business, it's ready, aim, fire, and you don't always have the details. You don't always have the information at hand. And if I can get to 51% confidence in a decision I make, like, I'm having a really good day, because most decisions you don't have all the information and you're having to navigate God knows what. And so, I think it's part of just what the industry is. And I think that's a challenge, but I look at our campus and our Office of General Counsel and the number of calls I had and how they stepped up and helped, I'm not an attorney, and helped me through the process, and I asked them for advice, because, I don't know everything. And so it takes a team. I say that a lot. It takes a team. You got to lock in and you got to make sure you have the right people in the foxhole that can get the job done. And we were able to do it this time.
Jeramiah, I can only imagine, how huge this week was, but had y'all been able to pull off that game last weekend, I'm not trying to bring the mood down, but that was just an incredible.
Thanks a lot, man.
I'm going to bring it back up. I'm going to bring it back up in just a second. But that was such an incredible showing. And you guys, I think showed the nation that you're a team to pay attention to. But if there was a bright spot, it was Ashton Genty, just the attention that he's receiving. Everybody's talking about him. I remember talking about him last year, and maybe here and there people were saying, but now it seems like any podcast, any college football TV show, they're talking about Ashton Genty, Heisman contender. Can you put into words just kind of the boost that gives the football program and what that's meant to have that kind of attention on the program?
It's priceless. It's hard to put even a value on it. I think last year we were talking about, or last time I talked to you guys, we were talking about Ash is the best running back, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he is the best player in the country, and I'm obviously biased, but I've never been a part of a game, guys, where we lost and it guts you. I hate losing. I'm still pissed. And not at our team. Please don't take that as like, I love our guys, and they fought, they kept swinging, and they kept coming back. And I felt for them because, those locker rooms are hard, and, you see it in their faces and the emotion, and, they had earned that moment. And sometimes our best isn't good enough. And that's something, life, they kept swinging though, and they kept coming back. And I still feel if there's another minute on the clock, we're winning that game. But coming out of that game, and I said, I've never experienced that, based on the social media and based on the media in general. You would have thought we won.
Yeah.
We gained votes, and obviously, I think people are paying attention. With Ash and that offensive line, that I can't say it enough. We were down a starter, at the end of Georgia Southern, and so down a starter going into Oregon, and then we're down two starters. I think sometime in the middle of the first quarter or whatever the time was. And guys just stepped up. That's what it means to be a Bronco. That's what it means to be a part of a team. That's what it means to lock arms with your brother. And God, it gives me chills. I'll never forget it, and there's not many losses that I'll sit back and say, I'm proud or whatever. We're in an industry that winning matters, and I'm a competitor, but man, I'll never forget that game just to see how those guys kept fighting, and it didn't matter what was thrown at them. They found a way, and to take, the home team, down to a field goal that ends the game. There's no more victories, but I feel just unbelievably proud of how they responded, and I'm excited. That energy level and the adrenaline and going that how that game was. It was a roller coaster. And as a fan, our first 2 games, it's giving me a heart attack, but fans should love it. And to see Ash and how that team's performing, you know, I'm glad we have a bye this week, you know, just to get back to neutral. It's always what's next. You get 24 hours to whatever, be upset. And there's so much more ahead this season. And Spencer, you know, I can't say enough about Spencer, just how he's handled it and how he handled the locker room. And, you know, he's the most authentic person that you can ever meet. What you see reminds me, I think I told you last time, it reminds me of Scott Drew. Like what you see in the hallways is what you see, you know, driving his car with him is what you see out in front of the media. Like the guy is just consistent. And that's Spencer, you know, win or lose, he's consistent. How he treats people, he's consistent. His message is consistent. It's always what's next. And, you know, and I just really appreciate that as an athletic director. And football is such a big deal for us, you know, financially, and our brand has been established on that. But how I see it dominoing into our other sport programs, you know, we have high ambition. And, you know, I want all of our sport programs to be viewed like our football program. That means I need to do more as an AD and a leader of this department. I need to fundraise more. I need to monetize more. I need to find a way, and there's always a way. There's always a solution. We're not going to stop our capital projects. Everyone else may talk about, well, we're not sure. We're going to find a way. You know, we are going to do revenue share at a certain level. We are going to switch conferences. Like there's always a path forward, and I'm just happy and grateful as a leader of this department to have people around me like that.
Your media relations department set us up with you. I know you have local radio to do on this big day. They've also helped us get a lot of, you know, access to Ashton and others at Boise State. When I saw the news, I was thrilled for you and everybody else, a part of your staff and the university, and those fans too. Thanks for your time. I know you won't take long to go to sleep when you finally get in bed. So get
hey,
some
my
rest.
in-laws are coming this weekend.
My
so
Lord,
man,
no.
So that's out the window.
Yeah.
I may go to a hotel.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Thank you,
No,
Jeremiah.
they're great. Thank you, guys. Go Broncos.
Yes, sir. Jeramiah Dickey, a Boise State Director of Athletics, with us on 365 Sports.